Knee injuries are common in both athletes and in the general population. The sports of rugby and soccer have been shown to have the highest prevalences of knee injury. The ACL, or anterior cruciate ligament, is a common injury in both the soccer and GAA players due to the fast twists, turns and jumps required for this sport. Strengthening the core has been shown to reduce the recurrence of lower limb injuries, as it helps to promote the optimal alignment of the body during sports movements, so we will include some core strengthening movements in this video. If you would like additional exercises on this topic, the FIFA 11 programme was developed to reduce the recurrence of lower limb injuries in soccer players, which we will link in the description below. Our next exercise is the knee extension. This mainly works on the quads muscles, which are a large muscle group at the front of the top of your leg. They're really important for everyday activities and then also in injury prevention. So you can do this exercise without any band. I'd recommend starting with that, and then if that's too easy, then you can add on a band. You'll see the setup that I have below. So I've tied a band onto the back leg of the chair, and then I've tied it onto the back of my ankle, and there shouldn't really be any looseness in the band before you start, because you want to have tension throughout the movement. So what I'm going to show you is we're going to slowly straighten the knee and then slowly bend the knee. And then slowly straighten the knee again, and then slowly bend the knee. So this is for our strength variation, whereas for our power variation, we can straighten the knee a bit faster and then still slowly bend the knee all the way back down. Our next exercise is a single leg squat, which is going to help with strengthening in the leg, but we're also going to focus on the feeling of our ankle under us and our balance to help with our proprioception. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by standing on my left leg, and to make this easier, you can hold on to something such as a chair. And what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze our core. We're going to try and keep our hips level, so we don't want to let our hip drop down to allow our foot to touch on the floor. And we're going to slowly bend our knee until our foot touches the floor, pause for a second, and then come back up. So I like to think 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, 3, up. When this gets too easy, you can take away your hand and repeat 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, 3, up. And then you can also increase the height of the step up board to make it more difficult. Our next exercise is the hip abduction, which helps to strengthen the hip abduction muscles which run along the outside of your hip. So Jennifer is going to start by holding onto something. You can also face directly onto what you're holding onto as well if that's what you prefer. Technique is really important in this exercise, so we don't want to overcompensate by leaning to one side to help to get the opposite leg up, because that involves other muscles that we aren't trying to train in this exercise. We also want to go nice and slowly and just lift up the foot as much as we can without having to lean to the opposite side. So Jennifer is doing an example of a nice controlled rep with good technique. And now she's going to show you an example of a rep with not so good technique, where she's lifted the leg too far up and she's had to lean to one side. It's just not as effective and it's not going to train the muscles as well. So the next strengthening exercise that we're going to do is the well-known wall sit. So this exercise is great for strengthening the muscles of the leg. Jennifer is just going to demonstrate here. So you're going to start off with your back up against the wall and slowly slide down. You want your feet far enough away from the wall so you can get a nice 90-degree angle at the back of the knee. And you're going to aim to hold this for between 30 seconds to 1 minute. So obviously start at the lower time and then build up as much as you can tolerate. Our next exercise is a toe stretch. So this stretch will help to stretch out the muscles of the calf as well as the muscles of the foot. So I'm just going to demonstrate here. I have a rolled up towel and I'm going to place the top of my foot into the towel, and then I'm going to just gently pull on the towel so that my toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. You should feel a stretch within your foot and up the back of your leg. And hold this for 30 seconds before swapping to the other side. This next stretch is for the hamstring. So I'm going to do a simple example of this that can be done outdoors with no equipment. So what you're going to do is put the hamstring that you want to stretch out in front. You're going to put your heel on the floor with your toes pointing up towards the ceiling, and nice and slowly lean down until you feel a stretch up the back of your hamstring. It shouldn't be painful, so just go down until you feel a comfortable stretch. This strengthening exercise is the well-known plank, which is excellent for strengthening the core muscles, which are the muscles at the front of the trunk. So Jennifer is just going to demonstrate this for us. So as you can see here, she has a nice flat back all the way from the bottom of her neck to her hips. And some common mistakes people make are having the hips either too high or down too low, and you're not getting the best effect out of the exercise. So we'd recommend having it in a nice straight line like Jennifer has here. If you want to make this exercise harder, then you can lift one leg a small amount and you can hold this. Our next strengthening exercise is the side plank, which is excellent for strengthening the muscles at the side of our core. So Jennifer is going to demonstrate this for us. The main thing is not to let your hips drop down, and you want a nice even slope down to the floor. You can make this harder by lifting one foot, although you can see this is quite a difficult progression, and you shouldn't lift the foot unless you can prevent your hips from dropping down. So now we're moving on to our plyometrics section of our ankle prehab. So we're going to start off with a skater jump. We're just going to run through the theory of this quickly first. So when you're doing a skater jump, you want to be jumping sideways, and you're going to have the side that you're jumping to being off the floor first. So lifting the inside leg, jumping to one side, and you're going to land on that leg. So they're alternating jumps. So Jennifer is going to demonstrate this now, and just pay careful attention to where she's placing her legs. And obviously, depending on your space and your ability, you can make these longer as well to have better effects.
So the first thing you're going to do, as always, you need to be careful and safe about this. So try to have a chair in front of you so that that can be there to support you if you need it. It kind of might seem like a silly thing to be doing, but actually, like I've said in another video, it has a hugely positive impact upon bone health, especially at the hip or the femoral neck, which is a very common site of fracture. So if you've no history of doing any of this kind of exercise and you're a little bit concerned, we're going to start with the first progression. So you keep your hands here and you're kind of just getting used to the action. So you're kind of just maybe even going to go like this. So you can see my feet are barely coming off the ground there. So you can even start with this and wait until you feel comfortable at this. I think it's a good idea to always have the chair in front of you, but you can also step back when you get a bit more comfortable. So when you are comfortable with it, the kind of full progression would be jumping like this. So jumping on the spot. We're going to do jumps backwards, like I had said about the odd impact. Jumps forward, jump to the right, and jump to the left. And what it will involve will be 10 jumps in the one place. So 10 jumps on the spot, 10 jumps backwards, 10 jumps to the side, that type of thing. And that'll be it. It'll probably take you maybe 3 or 4 minutes maximum. So it could be easily added 2 or 3 times a week. So that'll be what it is. Between each set of jumping, we'll allow for 10 or 15 seconds as a break. And actually that 10 or 15 second break is scientifically sound because it has something to do with the blood flow to the bone cells, that they respond better if they get that little break in between the sets of jumping. So we'll include that as well.
So our next plyometric video for the ankle will be a single leg tuck jump. So in this, we really want to focus on the explosiveness and the speed of the tuck jump. We are doing this on one leg. So Jennifer is going to demonstrate here. Start by standing on one leg, and when we lift off the floor, we're aiming to lift up that standing knee as much as we can. So we're really focusing on the speed and the explosiveness of the movement, as well as making sure that we're landing in a nice controlled manner. So our last plyometric exercise will be our rotational jump. So in this one, we're aiming to do a half turn, and we're going to aim to land in a controlled manner, but also to have as much of an explosive jump as possible. Brilliant. So in this, we're really focusing on the height and the speed, as well as making sure that we're landing in a controlled manner by bending our knees.